Hello guys, and welcome back to the second to last wave of Ben 10 clay figures. Now today I'll be showing you guys a whole new wave of Ben 10 figures that I made myself out of Sculpey and Fimo clay. Unfortunately I had to cut a couple characters out of this video in order to move them to the last wave so that I can get a bigger finale out of it all. I have a whole new wave of clay figures to show you guys, so without further ado, let's move on to the figures. Here we have one of the more rare characters. I guess you guys probably didn't expect me to make this figure. This is Kevin in his metal form. So basically whenever Kevin absorbs the actual metal form, this is what he turns into. This character, I'm not that big of a fan of him. I just decided to make him, just for the heck of it. I tried to get as much detail as I can in him, or as much detail as I could, because of, well, when a guy's pretty much made of all the same color, you can't fit that much detail into him. So I made it look like he was Kevin. He's roughly the size of the other clay figure that I made. However, I was actually able to include a little feature into him. On the back, there's not much detail, by the way. Here we have his little hammer, which molds out of his hand. So once you slip it on right there, that will basically fit in through the most of it. And yeah, that's basically his main feature. And that's pretty much Kevin in his metal form. Up next, we have... Now here we have a character that has become much more popular in the Omniverse series. He has made many more appearances. He is Magister Patelliday. Now he is a plumber. He basically helps out Ben in a few episodes. There's not much to say about this character. He has your standard plumber uniform, I guess. I made this design in other characters before. I lost this little head thing up here, the little head light thing up here. He has a small little fin down here, and as you guys can probably tell, he is of the same species as Ripjaws. That is why I made him in two forms as well. Here is his leg form right here. Now, unlike the other characters, he can actually fit into his leg form, as you can see right here. His legs have a very standard design, nothing special right there. Yeah, that's pretty much Magister Patelliday. Actually, wait, forgot about his second form. Here's his fin form. He basically has a standard plumber belt and everything, leading up to his plain black fin. This too is supposed... well, no, I lied. I'm sorry guys, but this does not fit into Magister Patelliday's little hole, I guess, as well. It fits fairly well. Sorry guys, this wasn't a feature that worked out very well for me. But anyway, moving on, we have... Up next, I'm going to show you guys a couple of figures that are generally the same. That's why I'm showing you, well, that's why I'm showing them all at once. Here is the Plumber. The average plumber in the Ben 10 series, the plumbers in this case are an intergalactic, well, they're basically intergalactic police, I guess you can say. In short, here's a fairly simple design. Once again, I've used this design in other characters. You have the silver leg parts right here, as well as the little pouches right here. Belts, silver part right here, as well as a standard, uniform right here. Now, what makes this plumber different is the fact that he has this little head right here. It is green with pink eyes and everything. And yeah, this is one of those kind of background characters, like one of those, like your standard soldier. Right here, we have a guy who is missing an arm. Just kidding, it actually just fell off 5 seconds ago. Basically, the only thing different about this character is his little, face right here. It is mainly purple/pink, and he has his little visor right here. Otherwise, the figure is pretty much the same, except for the fact that his arm just broke off. Ah, great. Now this plumber, he's your most average of the plumbers. His little helmet right here, and yeah, his helmet, it has a unique design. It kind of reminds me of the average stormtrooper, actually. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty good, except for the fact that the arm fell off the other guy. Now each of the plumbers, well, I'll get to that later. Up next, we have this 11-year-old Cannonbolt. Now this figure is much like the original Cannonbolt I made. He's very similar. The only difference is, as opposed to having the Omnitrix symbol here, he has it up here. I also tried to change the design to make it look more like Cannonbolt, because the first Cannonbolt I made looked a bit different from the one in the show. For instance, I had like the arms a bit more like kind of blocky like they have them in the show. And yeah, I liked to change the design up a little bit. We have the shells on each of the limbs, as well as the Omnitrix symbol up here, eyes, mouth, and stripe that goes all the way to his back, which reveals his main shell. So yeah, there's 11-year-old Cannonbolt. Next up, we have... Here we have another young figure, and this figure is 11-year-old Ripjaws. Now, you might be wondering where are his legs or tail. Well, that's because this figure I added in a cool little feature, which it allows changeable parts from tail to legs. But first, let's go over the details on the actual Ripjaws main body. We have the main teeth up here. I really like how his teeth turned out. You got like the whole like jaw of it, like you get the scale of how big his mouth is, I guess. You have his standard eyes, his little thing up here, I forgot what the name of that is, a little light. You have a full fin that goes down to his body, and you have webbed hands, as well as the Omnitrix symbol right here on his upper torso. Now I'll show you guys his fish mode, or form. Here we have Ripjaws' tail, and this connects to him when he goes into his fish form, I guess you could say. He has his two tails on both ends right here, as well as the green streaks that goes down his tail. I really like this design, how they incorporate it into the show. It looks pretty cool. Now here, once you connect it to the body, the rod simply goes in to the hole, and that does not sound wrong at all. Now he ends up being so tall that he cannot even fit into the camera. So basically, you can see it like this, kinda. It folds around everything. It didn't exactly go in all the way. Jeez. This does not sound right at all. Anyway, it works better with the other Ripjaws figure that I made, hint hint. But yeah, I'll be able to show you that when I show you that next figure. But before I do, let me show you Ripjaws' leg form. Now, in this form, his legs kind of fold out from his tail, and his tail goes down like into two flaps, I guess. Now, it basically looks similar to the actual tail, except for the fact that he has his two legs out here. The legs are both webbed, and they have two toes. But when you connect it, you can see that it actually fits sort of better than the actual tail. I wasn't able to get it exactly right because of how it turned out in the oven, but still, I think it turned out fairly well. Here's a quick comparison with the tail and the legs. And yeah, up next we have... Now here we have present day Ripjaws. Now this Ripjaws, I think it turned out better than the other one, mainly because, well, his form just looks better. He has the Omnitrix belts down here, which differs, or it makes him differ from the design of his 11-year-old form. He has his webbed fingers like he does in his old form, as well as the tail, or the fin that goes all the way down. And yeah, he's pretty much exactly the same. And when he fits in with his legs, oh yeah, his arms kind of block off the way that he moves in with his legs. So that's kind of one default. I still want to show you these figures though, mainly because while they do have their flaws, I still felt the need to kind of like show them off to you guys. And sadly, it does the same thing with his actual fin. You can kind of imagine what it would look like. Maybe you guys, if you decide to make a figure like this, and it would turn out even better than mine. Up next, we have... Here we have Phibian, one of the better figures that I've made in this wave, mainly because his body looks perfect. Like, it looks almost exactly how it does in the show. Like, he has this wide body right here, as well as all the fins that pop down. I wasn't able to get his back right, though, mainly because, well, I wasn't able to really see the design on his back. Also, I was running out of this kind of blue clay. But on the front, it turned out very well. He has this Omnitrix symbol, which basically is like his mouth, I guess. His eyes turned out very good. They look like they do in the show. As well as the patterns on his chest and all over his fins. Or tails. He turned out very good, and I really like this figure. Up next, we have this crappy thing. I'm not even going to mention what his name is because I honestly hate this alien so much. But sadly, I ended up making him anyway. I don't know what came over me. Basically, you have the head, torso, wings. That's about it. I don't even want to go over this figure anymore. Up next, we have... Now this one, we have a far better alien. This is Frankenstrike, one of the more powerful aliens in the show, I guess you can say. I really like his design in Omniverse. However, I was not able to fully capture it, mainly because the stitching and everything, that's mainly the kind of design that you get from the show. And that's not really what I was able to show in this figure. But still, I think it turned out very good. You have the little voltage bolt things, I guess, all along his arms, as well as on his belt. His Omnitrix symbol is what combines a couple scars right there. His head turned out fairly good. I'm not going to get too far into that one. Mainly because the stitching, like the whole different color shades, make it look a little bit weird. We have his two voltage things right up on his shoulders right there. His hands turned out fairly good, as well as his feet. His pants are simple. And on his back, there's not really much to go over. It's kind of just plain on the back. His stitching goes around his arms and everything. And that's Frakenstrike. Up next, we have... Now, as you guys can see, we have moved on to Ben's far more powerful and better aliens. Here we have Atomix. One of Ben's most powerful aliens is actually Ben's most powerful alien, other than Alien X. I wasn't able to capture his full detail, mainly because I copied him from a preview I saw of the show. When I saw him about to like throw his energy ball, I guess, I was able to copy the figure from that frame right there. So I was able to get most of his detail in. I knew this was going to be one of Ben's aliens, so I decided to make him in advance. Starting from the legs up, we have his standard legs. The character isn't very detailed in the show, so I was able to get a fair amount of detail in there. We have his arms right there, which I don't know what they hold. I guess pure energy or something. His Omnitrix belt, his main Omnitrix chest icon right there, as well as his head. His head looks very good. I think it turned out better than, well, it turned out better than I thought it would. We have his little shoulder fluid things right there. And on the back, there is no, well, not much detail. As you can see, I have a little bit of glue that got stuck on the back, but other than that, it turned out fairly good. Up next, here we have Sir Morton. I'm not a big fan of this character all too much. He's not my favorite of them all. He has a very standard design right here. Pretty much a main silver body covered with all the little black lines right here to show his armor. He has a little Forever Knight symbol, which I kind of messed up on his chest, or his lower torso. His little helmet right here makes him look more like a knight. And yeah, he has very big hands and everything. Black lines along the back. And yeah, that's basically Sir Morton. Nothing much else to say about this character. Up next, here we have two more Forever Knights. They're the twin knights, otherwise known as Comedy and Tragedy. The reason they have these names is because one of them has the tragedy face, the other one has the laughing face, like the comedy face. Now, basically, they're both pretty much the same, except for the fact that they have their different faces, so you can tell them apart. They have little armor, leggings, and shoulder pads and arms right here. You have this really cool design down here, which I really like. I think I added a lot of detail into this. You have the You have the 4 little bone parts sticking out of the main Forever Knight symbol. And yeah, on the back, there's not much detail there. Mainly because I don't think there was much detail that they had on these characters in the show. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Up next, we have... Here we have another villain, which, he's basically another Ripjaws kind of figure, otherwise known as, a Pisces Voland. And, on the Ben 10 wiki, he's known as the Pisces Voland Prisoner. He's nothing really more than a cameo kind of guy. He appears in the background. He most of the time is found working for Siphon. And yeah, that's pretty much him. His background. He has his main body right here. Not much design there. He has his little fingers right here. I forgot to add the webbed parts. He had the 2 fins along the sides. And his neck piece actually looks kind of cool. I think it adds like the whole dangerous kind of look of this guy. Same kind of features as the normal Pisces Voland would have, like in the other characters. White and black back right here. And for his feature, he uses the same legs as the Ripjaws figures, as well as the same like fin, I guess. Now this one actually fits on perfectly. It fits on very well. And sadly, he's not able to stand, but it still turned out very good. He is so tall that he's not able to fit in the, in the entire frame. But he did turn out very good, and I like how this character can actually fit onto that. And he can do the same with the fin right here. He fits very well with his other fin form piece right here. And yeah, this character actually turned out fairly well for a cameo figure. Up next, we have... Here we have another one of Siphon's thugs. He has a very simple design. I made him out of leftover clay. He turned out fairly good. He's mainly a cameo character, works for Siphon. He has a very simple body with 4 tentacles along the bottom. And his main torso is fairly simple. He has his little black design right there. And his head is fairly simple. You probably won't be able to see the design that much, mainly because of his dark purple color. Once again, I made this out of leftover clay, so it might not turn out the best. But I still felt the need to bring this character to you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much one of Siphon's thugs. Up next, we have... Here we have Inspector 13, one of my favorite villains from the Ben 10 series. Ever since he appeared in Ultimate Alien, I knew that I liked this guy. He has a variety of weapons, which I made out of clay. Hint, hint, I'm going to be showing them later. He has a very good personality. Well, not very good, but he doesn't have a stupid personality. He just has one goal, and that's to fend for himself. And, yeah, let's move on to the figure. He has a very simple look right here. He has, like, kind of jumpsuity kind of look right here. He has little pockets right here, storage unit, his belt, his main chest control piece right here, as well as his little shoulder attachments right here. His head looks fairly good. I like the little eye pieces that I designed. On his main head, he has the 4 little prods in the back. And yeah, I think this figure turned out very well. You can definitely tell it's Inspector 13. And yeah, I really like this character. Up next, we have... Here we have Albedo, one of Ben's most powerful foes. He doesn't appear too much in the show, however when he does, he has a big impact. I tried to make him as similar as I could to make him look as much as his Ben 10 counterpart. They both look fairly similar with the whole facial features and everything. He didn't turn out exactly like I wanted to, but he turned out very good. Yeah, he still turned out very good. On the back, you have his little design, I guess, right there, little stripe. You have his jacket that goes around right here. His little side things right here, side stripes. His little backwards 10 right here, as well as his little gauntlet type Omnitrix. Now, I was planning to make Omnitrix versions of his Ultimate Aliens, like Ultimate Albedo, Ultimate Humongousaurus, Ultimate Spider Monkey. But sadly I was unable to get to those. As I said before, I will be showing off the rest of the clay figures that I made, and the last of them. Up next, here we have Albedo's, or one of Albedo's most powerful alien forms. This is Ultimate Albedo. He's pretty much one of the smartest creatures in the universe, I guess. He's an evolved form of Galvin, otherwise known as gray matter. He has a fairly good design, I guess. He's very similar to MODOK from the Avengers comics and stuff. He has a little like hovercraft right here. His little legs and arms are popping out. He has little side turrets, which he never really used. I don't really get why they would have turrets in an evolved form though. Anyway, he has 3 eyes right here. His Omnitrix symbol up here, as well as little cutout designs right here to show like his kind of brain thing. He also has this little arc that travels around the back of his head, which shows a light. And that is the last of the Ben 10 figures. However, we still have... Here's one of the things I mentioned that I would be getting to later. This is one of the Plumber's main weapons. It is like the standard issue kind of plumber gun. I made one for each of the figures. So essentially we have 3. 1, 2, 3. So they're pretty much all the same design. They have the silver barrel right here, little ammo casing on the bottom, as well as the scope, and your standard barrel, little blaster, I guess. So yeah, this has been, this is the standard Plumber blaster. Up next, we have... Here's the standard Forever Night blaster. It has your little 2 handles right here, so it can be held from either side. A little handle right here so you can put a few fingers through to hold it, as well as its main barrel right up here. It's a very standard design, and yeah, it's shown a lot throughout the Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and Omniverse series of Ben 10. Up next, we have... Here are the Forever Knight's swords. Now, in the Omniverse series, they have like these little energy sword kind of things. These are very basic kind of clay figures. All you need is some red clay, flatten it out a little bit, and add like a gray cylinder on the bottom. I did make 3 of these, one for Sir Morton, and 2 for the twin Forever Knights. So yeah, it's a very standard design, not much else to go over. Up next, we have... Here are 2 of Inspector 13's weapons. They include a standardized little pistol kind of thing, like kind of alien gun, and his little shocker thing that goes around his wrist. Now for the pistol, alien blaster, I'm just gonna call it a pistol for now. It has a lot of its little detail. I didn't include as much detail as it is shown in the episode that it's included in. It has its standard little barrel light on the front. And as shown in the show, you can attach a small little part onto it. So this is pretty much like one of the only weapons that I made with an actual feature included onto it. So you can attach that on, and then like it increases like the firepower, I guess, of it. Now for the shocker part, it consists nothing but 2 main prods around the main circle, which can fit around his wrist. And yeah, that's pretty much Inspector 13's weapons. Moving on, we have... So anyway, you guys, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this Ben 10 clay figure video review. I now have currently 100 clay figures in my possession. That was a lot of hard work, time, and pretty much clay put into this. Wave 5 will be coming very soon. I had to move some clay figures from Wave 4 to Wave 5 to make it more of a finale, because there are some pretty awesome characters. I hope they will turn out very well in the video. And yeah, I would like to thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and stay tuned for another episode.